Hi, so a chakra reading, and this is all about Pluto Retrograde 2020. Now, Pluto Retrograde 2020 is having quite a big effect. Pluto is a distant planet, and we don't always expect it to play into life quite as much as it is doing, but things are really making a difference. So, in this video, a chakra reading using Rachel Sharman's chakra reading deck here, and we'll have a look into kind of what my spirit guides are telling me about it. And if you're drawn to this, then it's very much for you. I'm not doing this for any one particular star sign. This is a chakra reading for everybody. The chakras are a wonderful way of kind of getting ourselves in line with actually within ourselves, as well as being in line with the universe. This deck does the 7 chakras within the body, and also the Earth Star chakra beneath our feet, and the Soul Star chakra above our head. Okay, so now the thing about this Pluto retrograde, right, which actually started on April the 25th, it started in 24 degrees 59 Capricorn. It actually ends on October the 4th, and that's going to be in 22 degrees 29 Capricorn. So it's kind of very Capricorn-y retrograde. We're all kind of trying to hang on. Also, Jupiter conjuncts Pluto as part of this, and that kind of makes people focused and driven, so that's quite a positive side to it. But that actual Jupiter-Pluto conjunction itself is square Mercury, and that kind of brings fears out a bit more. Mercury has as much to do with anything as communication, but it's often a fear-based thing. We see a lot of fear in Mercury retrograde about one thing or another. That all depends on which Mercury retrograde it is. There are 3 or 4 every year. But anyway, Mercury is actually square onto this Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, so there's a lot of fear in there, and particularly with everything going on in the world in April 2020, and I guess this reading kind of really goes on for the rest of the year, or at least until October. That is going to be a factor. That Jupiter-Pluto conjunction also is going to be going on until November this year, so it actually outlasts the Pluto retrograde. Pluto is actually more Pluto-ish than usual during its retrograde. Many planets kind of turn on their head in retrograde in terms of the effects they have on us, but Pluto retrograde just brings out the Pluto side of it even more. There's a lot of fear about that. Is the biggest thing that I want to try and get across in this video, and that's the thing we've got to conquer, really. So I've had a shuffle. Let us turn over the first card, and here we go now. This is the Soul Star chakra, which is up above our heads somewhere, and that's what links us with, it makes the link between us standing on Earth in the goddess energy and the whole universal kind of system of whatever's going on with the divine. So this is actually a very strong divine link that's come up first of all in this reading, and it says on here spiritual awakening. It's number 29 in the deck, so it's quite late in the deck actually, and so we're really, we're galloping to try and work out what's going to happen all the way through in October, and we really don't know because so much is up in the air at the moment, and so much is on the table in front of us, on our plates, you might say, for us to have to deal with. But when we're really pushed into a corner, spiritual awakening is always at least part of the consequence, and it may take the whole retrograde to run its course before we really understand what spiritual awakening is happening. Retrogrades are like that. They teach us all the time, but exactly what they're teaching us isn't revealed until we come through to the retrograde. Look at this character here, though. We can see here, this really, to me, this is the forehead chakra, and so that's the third eye, and it's always looking inwards, so we're probably being quite critical of ourselves when we get into a state of fear, particularly over the pandemic that's going on at the moment, and Pluto actually rules pandemics, so, it has a lot to do with kind of death going on and things like that. But that's only actually, although it's Pluto retrograde, that is only one of the influences. So let's try and put that fear aside. Let's kind of face it head on. Let's look into ourselves with the third eye, okay, and kind of be a bit kind of examining of ourselves, I suppose is the best way to put it, because that's, we are who we are, and that's the resources that we've got to tackle these fears, and it's actually having a healthy mind has a lot to do with having a healthy body. So let's put those fears aside and let's actually try and link with the universal energy and work out what it's actually trying to show us. We're not going to work it all out in one go, that's for certain, but it's worth thinking about, you know, it's worth thinking about not what could be bad, but what could be positive. How could things turn out in a happier way? I know there's going to be some kind of new normality at the end of this, and it's bound to be a bit different from the old one, but really, you know, for example, like all the kind of lots of restaurants and cafes and places where people gather, theatres, have kind of gone bankrupt or are in the process of going bankrupt at the moment. But that doesn't mean that at the end of this, people aren't going to want to go to theatres and restaurants and cafes and pubs. People are still going to want to do those things, but there are going to be new places, new businesses and new ways of doing it. So actually, you know, it's a bit like the phoenix rising from the ashes. There's going to be a whole world of difference, but then again, we're all still human beings, so there's also going to be a whole world of the same coming up. Let's turn over the next one now then. Number 1 in the deck, Mother Earth, and we're right at the other end of the chakras here, so this is card number 2, coming after Spiritual Awakening. There is quite a strong one, and this very simply is the goddess link that we all have to the creative forces of the universe, because it's those creative forces of that whole vast universe that made our Earth what it is, and that's where all the energy came from when the Earth was formed, and that goddess energy is very, very strong at the moment. So this is Earth Star Chakra, and this is where we need to get grounded, and of course that goes along with all the spiritual awakening at the other end of the chakra system. So it's really important to visualize those roots going down into the earth and holding you tight. You can move around on the roots, it's not a problem, but no one can knock you over, and neither can anything that's going on in the world either. It's really going to be all about you, and that's how it should be as long as you send those roots down into the earth, okay? Because we are the first stage really in drawing the goddess energy into ourselves, and that makes it so much easier and so much more powerful when we try to draw the divine energy of the universe down into us, because they meet in the middle, and that's what the chakra system is all about really. So that's Mother Earth. Okay, let's keep on going, let's keep on shuffling. So much fear in the air at the moment, and that's the last thing we really want to do, is be in a place of fear. So let's turn over another card and see where we're going here. Now then, this is quite the opposite of fear really. It's the heart chakra. It's right here, it's the lower heart chakra, I guess, but there's lots of pink in this card as well, so I'm going to say it's the lower and the higher heart chakra together, and the message on the card is simply love. That's simple. Okay, what number is it? 18. Always worth thinking about the numerology of things in any kind of reading, because I'm sure it's a fact of life much more than people realise it is. And number 18, it's kind of like a second stage of completion. We've got through the first kind of 10 stages of completion, and we're really up to almost another level of completion when this comes in, but more is needed to actually get there. And in terms of getting there, I'm thinking about getting through not just the Pluto retrograde in October, but everything else that's going on. We're going to know so much more about it in October. Many things will have changed, but the new normal will be well and truly on the table by then. And that's going to put stuff on our plates to deal with as well. And the way to deal with it, my friends, is love. Look at this heart here. It's the heart itself isn't actually the thing, you know, it's the outline of the heart, all those beautiful bright colours that allow us to see the heart in what looks like a black hole in the middle. And that's what the heart is best at, you know, because the human heart will always find a way of doing something positive and something that comes from a place of love. And that is really, really what we need, friends. Okay, so card number 3. We'll make this a 5-card reading. I think that's the best way to go with this one, really. In terms of numerology, 5 is quite a powerful magical number. It's called kind of, it puts us in the middle of 0 to 10, you know, so, and we feel kind of stuck in the middle when we're looking for advice and when we're looking for guidance. So let's have a shuffle and see what comes out next. In this all signs reading, this is for all star signs, by the way, about Pluto Retrograde 2020. So turning one over, creativity. Now then, this is in the sacral chakra. This is actually not just in the root chakra, where we tend to find our fears hanging out, and we tend to find kind of concerns about money, safety and security. This is a step up from this, and we've got this card now, and I'm not going to say these come in any particular order actually, but creativity is what we need at the moment, okay, because we're all having to deal with totally new situations in which we can't be expected to understand what's going to happen or where we're going to end up. But creativity is the key to it, okay? That is what is going to shape the new normal. That is what is going to form the new normal. And in terms of overcoming fears, it's a very powerful influence, because we all have creativity within us, and the things we fear are based on the life we've always known, you know? Excuse me. As we fear the unknown. And all we've got at the moment is what we've always known. So whatever's coming in can very easily lead to a place of fear. And that's the last thing we want. But it's the creative heart and mind. And it's all coming from the sacral chakra here. Which has a lot to do with kind of sexuality. So it's how we're going to be interacting with the earth, with the universe, with everything that's going on, including kind of the news, the politicians, our own friends, the health services, everyone and everything is on the table at the moment. So creativity is going to bring a lot of positive influences in. And if we see the eye up here, this has taken me into the idea of the third eye again, even though it's a sacral chakra card. And look, all the gold colour is focused around this eye here. So there's a great deal of gold, there's a great deal of goodness to be had from looking at things from a place of love and from a creative place. You know, how are you going to have your new normal? Don't just have it imposed on you, friends. Have a plan. Think creatively and think big, because this gives us the chance to have something much bigger and better. That is the nature of change. Change is a scary thing, but it's possible to have something much bigger and much better. So focus on that thought of creativity. That is card number 10 as well. And so there's some completion hand in hand with that, a definite feeling of completion, but it's always completion leading on to the next step of the journey. Nothing ever comes to a halt. Even when people pass away, they go into a new part of the universe, a new understanding of life, and a new way of life, really. I'm a spiritualist medium, and I used to be amazed by it. I'm less amazed by it now, because it's kind of become part of my life to communicate with people on the other side. And where they go, it's just the other side of life. It's not really about death. The body passes on, but the person, everything about the person that really made sense to you is still alive and kicking and well and ready to communicate. If anybody wants a reading, by the way, 35and83@gmail.com. That is 35and83@gmail.com. A very small fee gets involved there, but a reading can be hard. I spend all day and half the night doing readings, just about all the time. I'm not asleep, because it's what I love doing, you know, and it's a great way of drawing down the divine influence somewhere closer to our lives, to our hearts and minds. So let's turn over card number 5 in this chakra reading for all signs for Pluto Retrograde 2020. Self-mastery. Right, it's number 15 as well. So we're well along the way to the new understanding of life when this comes in. And just look at all those chakras, all balanced, all in a row. Now, friends, if you're not familiar with chakra work, it's really, really good if all our chakras are spinning the right way. And if we, it brings a sense of happiness. And it's quite easy to do that, really, to get them spinning in the right direction. All you need to do is kind of tune in, because intent is absolutely everything. Focus on having the highest intent, and just go through the chakras one after the other. We've got the root chakra, which is red, all about kind of fears, really, about money, safety, security, that kind of thing. We've got the sacral chakra, which is our sexuality, and it's what kind of generates newness in so many ways, and that's orange. Then we've got the solar plexus, which is the seat of our personal power, really, and that's a yellow chakra, and that needs to be healthy. You know, not kind of overblown, not too much going on there, but it needs to be healthy. Then we've got the green of the heart chakra and the turquoise blue of the throat chakra. So important to speak our truths, and that's what the throat chakra is all about. Then the purple of the forehead chakra and the beautiful clear colour of the crown chakra, which is where the information flows in for. Excuse my scars here. I fell into some brambles yesterday. That's part of my journey at the moment. But self-mastery, friends, okay? And this being the colour it is actually all about the solar plexus chakra. But for that to work well, all the chakras need to be balanced. So go through them one at a time, the 7 chakras within the body. Visualise them as their colour, absolutely glowing and gleaming their true colour in a clean, kind of happy feeling. And as you visualise those things, problems that come up around those areas of life, just kind of put those problems on a cloud and watch it drift away. Give it to the universe and ask for things to be transmuted and transformed, and they will be, because intent is everything. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching. Don't let this get you down, okay? It's really just a case of trying to keep positive as you possibly can, because good things are coming. And although so much is locked down and difficult at the moment, we are actually on our way out into a new understanding of the world, into a new way of life. All the politicians, all the news programs, they've got an agenda. My only agenda is I want everyone to be happy, because we can be happy and we've got a right to be happy. And as long as we stay focused with that as our true intention, happy is what we're going to be. Hope you're happy, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. 35and83@gmail.com for a reading if you'd like one. And please also consider supporting the channel so I can buy new cameras and stuff like that, which gets ever so expensive. PayPal.me/twigbrother. That is PayPal.me/twigbrother. Anyway, whatever happens, God bless you. Thanks very much for watching. I've said it again. Take care of yourselves, and I'll be back very soon with more readings. Peace.